Okay, I'd like to call the regular meeting of February 10th, 2022 to order. Okay, and let's have, John, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag
The flag
of the United States
of America,
and to the republic
republic
for which it stands,
which stands
one nation, under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty and
justice.
justice for all.
Thank you, John. And Dave.
Thank you. Okay, Linda, could we get a roll call?
For Councilmember Andrusik,
Present?
Councilmember Lewis. Here. Councilmember Sanchez,
Here.
Mayor King,
Here.
and Mayor Sierra.
Excused with absence.
Okay. Scott, do we have any reordering of the agenda?
We have no reordering of the agenda this evening.
Okay, and Linda, do we have any public comments?
We do not. No public comments.
All righty then, so we will move on to the consent calendar. And that is going to be minutes of the January 27, 2022 regular city council meeting, list of claims to be ratified, approved and ratified for payment to date for fiscal year 21-22, and resolution 22-02, a resolution of the city of the city of Buellton, California, proclaiming the continuing need to meet by teleconference.
I'll move to approve.
Second?
Linda?
Member Lewis,
Aye.
Member Andrusik,
Aye.
Member Sanchez,
Aye.
and Vice Mayor King.
Aye. And I don't see that we have any presentations or public hearings.
No, sir.
Scott? No?
None.
Okay. Then we will move on to council member comments or items. If anybody has something they want to come back to a future meeting or a praise of anybody or comments for the council meeting.
I was reading the packet, and the item that we're adopting, so that I thought staff was very judicious in their, in fact, I went back and read it a couple of times. I think it's agenda item 5 where they're doing some, there were changes, and they made, and I just got this handed, so I'm not sure which, I had it tabbed in my other agenda. But the restrictions on the person that the people that we're approving for handling, I forget what the presentations are, and I'll speak up when we get to it. But I think it read very well, and I made notes in it in my packet, but then I got a different pack. So but I did want to thank staff for going to the effort to let us know their opinion of why they were changing. You know, they didn't just say we want to change it. They said we want to change it because, and I wanted to give them credit, like the management knows, Scott and the rest of the management team, that the citizens are getting their money's worth. They spelled out exactly what was what improvements would be made, and there was several pages involved, but I wanted that to go forward, and I'll be happy to research, get the more particulars of it. I have a note somewhere in my folder, but not right in front of me.
Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you for that.
Okay,
You're
so
welcome.
noted.
Thank you.
Anyone else with comments or items?
I'll have a comment, please. I wanted to thank JC at the parks. My neighbor left their bike at the park, and I called Ben, and Ben called him and called me right away and returned the bike. And it was nice to have such an attentive staff. And also, I believe they worked on the military flag poles and did some work on them and repainted them, and wanted to let them know I appreciate that as well. Thank you.
Okay, awesome.
Super.
Anyone else? Okay, no one else? Any written communications, Linda?
No, no written communication.
Okay, any committee reports? Anyone go to any committee meetings since the last regular council meeting? Please speak up.
I attended the CCWA meeting, but it was reports of reports. It covered the agenda, and there was nothing dynamic that went on, but it's as the usual well-run Central Coast Water Authority meeting. So
Okay,
I did
awesome.
attend that.
Okay, anyone else?
I had an Arts and Culture Committee meeting, which was very good. And I guess the ideas will be coming next meeting. And I also attended the library meeting. They had one yesterday and one today. And Holly is the representative and I filled in. So I want to let her know I got that done. Thank you.
Good. Anything new, John?
No, they mostly was to, the second one was just to go to be able to have the meeting by Zoom again. And the other one was just a lot of library stuff that kind of same that was last time, nothing big happening. Thank you.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, moving on to business items. Item number 4, 6-month report for fiscal year 21-22 from the Buellton Visitors Bureau. And this will be Finance Director Chanel Zamora.
Vice Mayor King and members of the City Council. Tonight's attachment 1 on your staff report is the 6-month report of the Buellton Visitors Bureau that covers July 1st, 2021 through December 31st. This is just as part of their contract to provide to council an update. And if you have any questions, I am available to answer, but there's also Kathy Reeling here if you have any questions or if she would like to speak. Thank you.
Okay. Let's bring it back to council or for discussion or questions. Anyone questions on that?
Oh, sure.
Okay, let's, do we have any public comment on this?
No comments.
No public comment. Okay, so let's bring it back and we only need to accept this, correct, Scott?
Correct. I didn't know if Kathy wanted to chime in here before the on this report.
Okay, I'll go back to Kathy. Kathy, you have anything you want to discuss with us?
Hi, good evening. No, just I hope you had a chance to kind of look through it. We're kind of getting back to normal, which is a good feeling. So we're able to kind of open up our marketing and get our print ads out there and kind of get back to a little bit of normalcy with our advertising and marketing. So that should be reflected there in that report. And I'm happy to answer any questions, but we're off to a good start, which is a relief. We haven't had to shut the tap off too much this year, so it's nice to kind of get on some consistency with our marketing and reach our visitors. So, thank you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I had a question for Kathy, well, because she's kind of our sounding board for the community or the state. How are you seeing inquisitive natures from the tourists, or they're just happy to come and visit and they go their merry way?
Yeah, for the most part, people are happy to be out. They're enjoying their time here. They do come into the visitor center. We're starting to see a little uptick in foot traffic there, which is nice. Still nothing much from an international market, but it's mostly domestic, and LA, of course, is a big audience. We're getting some Bay Area, which is nice. Some East Coast coming out, I think getting out of the cold weather. But no, they've all got a great sentiment and coming in. They're looking to kind of explore and see what we have to do here and where to eat, where to drink wine, and where to drive, hike. They love hiking too. So just a lot of, which we've heard that quite widely, even from our state office, that it's, outdoor adventure, anything wide open spaces, which we lend ourselves to, which is nice because I think we'll continue to see this growth. But we're hoping, we've got a couple good weekends coming up. Valentine's Day weekend is separate from President's Day weekend, so the hotels are excited. They've got a couple good 2 back-to-back strong weekends coming up. They had restaurant weeks, which was nice. The mask mandate getting released a little bit this next week, which is opening things up. People are happy about that. So I think we've got some good things coming up in the next few weeks to months. And I think we'll continue to see an uptick in our travel numbers. So things are looking up.
Good,
Thank you, Kathy.
Mhm.
perfect. Okay, anyone else on that? Nope. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 5. That is a correction of contract with Buellton Business Association Chamber of Commerce for operation of a visitors bureau. And the contact's going to be City Manager Scott Wolf. Scott, take it away.
Thank you, Vice Mayor King and members of the City Council. As the City Council will recall, during the last budget discussion, as well as the budget discussion for the fiscal year prior, there was funding that had been intended for, or that had actually been paid to the Visitors Bureau for work that they do that was not expended during those years due to COVID shutdown and, and the associated problems involved in getting out to trade shows and such. As such, both this past fiscal, or the current fiscal year and last fiscal year, the City Council amended the amount of the contract and allowed the Visitors Bureau to spend the excess money from the prior fiscal year. For this fiscal year, the Visitors Bureau gave us an estimate of the amount of money they would have spent, but there was an underestimate of that, of the unexpended amount. And so they did not, excuse me, I believe it's an overestimate. I'm getting my numbers confused here, of the amount that they would spend. The City Council budgeted $420,000 for that, whereas we would typically budget $450,000. The amount of the contract was set at $420,000. However, the amount that carried over from the prior year was not $30,000, but was less than that. Therefore, there was a gap of $6,828 in order to make the Visitors Bureau's contract whole for the budgeted amount of $450,000. Staff is requesting that the City Council approve the attached amendment to the contract, which is in your packet, which would increase the funding level by $6,828.30 to correct this shortfall. This, while the original budgeted amount was $450,000, at the last budget adjustment, staff corrected that. Now we need to uncorrect that for that $6,828.30. So a budget adjustment in that amount would be required. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. It's kind of a complicated situation we find ourselves in, but as it makes sense. And in order to get the value we're looking for from the Visitors Bureau, the contract should be amended.
Okay, copy
Move for
that.
approval.
Any questions for the city manager from council? No questions. And do we have any questions or comments from the public? Linda?
We do not.
We do not. Okay, bringing it back to the council for possible action or comments.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move for amendment adjustment to $6,828.30.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second.
I have a second on that, Linda?
Okay, Councilmember Andrusik,
Aye.
Member Lewis,
Aye.
Councilmember Sanchez,
Aye.
Vice Mayor King.
Aye. Okay, that was easy. And
Thank
moving
you.
on to budget item 6. This is consideration of agreement for operation of Zaca Creek Golf Course with Mike
Thank you, Kevin.
Brown. And this will be Public Works Director Rose Hess.
Yes, thank you very much. This item is coming back to you guys from our December 9th, 2021 council meeting. Staff did modify the contract with the final terms as discussed during that council meeting. Let me see. There are some main points that we want to make sure we have pointed out, that the contract term will be for a period of 5 years with 2 5-year extensions available at the council's discretion. The base fees shall remain the same at $1,250 per month, and it's subject to modification or renegotiation after 2 years if council so desires. The green fees, there's language in there that just says if proposed increases to the green fees exceed 8% in a given year, the request shall be brought to council for approval. And we've also made sure that the city events, that a maximum of 4 events a year shall remain in the lease. The rest of the terms were just the minor modifications. We added the language that if Mike Brown has any changes to the operations and maintenance required to keep the golf course going, that he can work with the city and we can, at our discretion, just make the modifications so that it works and it makes it pertinent to what his needs are. So with that, I did receive signed copies of the lease, a signed copy of the lease from Mike Brown today. So we have that all ready to process. Mike is unavailable to join our meeting tonight, but as I said, he has approved the changes and signed the lease agreement. With that, staff recommends that the council approve the proposed agreement for the Zack Creek Golf Course and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement.
I would move for that motion, Madam Mayor.
Well,
Mr.
Ed, let's see if there's any questions first. Let's go ahead and see if there's any question from the council for Ms. Hess or the city manager from council.
Okay.
All right. Nobody? Okay. Linda, any public comments on this or questions?
No, no public comment.
We do not. Okay. We will bring it back to the council then for either further discussion or a possible motion on this. Ed?
I'm back to my motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion.
With that, yes.
Okay, and we have a second. Linda, roll call.
Member Andrusik,
Aye.
Councilmember Lewis,
Aye.
Councilmember Sanchez,
Aye.
Vice Mayor King.
Aye.
And I would mention that I have still never heard any disparaging remarks of our community or our golf course maintenance from Mr. Brown. So I think it deserves credit in the comment for conversation for a minute, the minutes of this meeting. If
Okay.
there is a second.
Right. And before we leave this in the dust, I'd like to thank our staff for the hard work that they did on this and getting this all cleaned up and all the amendments and changes that we made to this. So thank you very much for that hard work.
Thank you, Rose. Very good. And the lawyer.
And having no other business items, let's go on to the city manager's report.
Were we going to vote on the motion or
I think we did.
we did?
We just did.
Okay.
Yes. You make another motion, Ed? Sorry, I might have missed
No,
that.
no, I didn't know
Okay.
we did the final vote on the next. Thank you.
Linda, is that correct? We did.
Good.
We
Yep.
did. Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
My mistake.
And then, that's all right, Ed. Perfectly fine. Let's move on to city manager's report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor King, members of the council. I have 2 very quick items for you this evening. The first is that this afternoon, the Santa Barbara County Public Health Officer rescinded the indoor mask order as of midnight on, February 15th. So as of the 16th of February, indoor masks or masking will not be required indoors for vaccinated persons within the county. Basically, he's called in the health order into line with what the state health order is. There are some exceptions to this, those being things like schools, daycare centers, and public transit will still require indoor masking, but this will represent a significant change from what we've seen over the past couple months. And I'm happy to bring back or answer any questions the council may have on that. The information is pretty limited at this point, but it pretty much falls into line with what the state's requirements are. And secondly, I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting that tonight is Christina Burrow's last night with Burke Williams Sorensen. I just would like to thank her. I know the city council hasn't seen her, but maybe once or twice prior. But Christina has done tons of work for the city staff in support of the city's operations over the past several years. And I would just like to thank her and express my appreciation for all the work that she's done and wish her good luck in her next endeavor.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Scott.
here. And I will throw this in here, anything from our council for the evening, any report from you?
A couple things I would like to thank Christina as well. And I didn't mention earlier, but when Kathy was on, but we're going to have Discover Buellton on the glasses at Loggerville. So it'll be, that'll go out. It's a big event. And also Discover Buellton will be the recipients of the profit of the Fall Fest. So I want to let everybody know that when we're on that subject. And thank Christina again for, if we haven't heard about you, that means you're doing a good job. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
No arrows.
Anyone else? Christine, I also appreciate the work that you've done for the city over the past few years, and good luck in your new endeavor.
Thank you.
Yep, thank
Thank
you
you.
and good luck.
Thank you.
It's
Okay,
unanimous.
anything else before we close? Okay, I'd like to close the meeting February 10th, 2022 until February 24th, 22 at 6 p.m. for a regular meeting.
Thank you, Dave. Good job.
Okay, thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Okay, good night.